In the skies above Israel, a barrage of rockets streaks through the air. Sirens wail as civilians rush to shelters. But within seconds, something extraordinary happens. One by one, the incoming rockets are intercepted mid-flight, exploding in brilliant flashes against the dark sky. This is Iron Dome in action, perhaps the most successful missile defense system ever created. Now, imagine this same technology protecting American soldiers and citizens. After decades of air superiority, the United States faces new and evolving threats that have changed the rules of modern warfare. And the Pentagon's response? To build America's own Iron Dome. Today, we reveal why the U.S. military is racing to deploy this revolutionary defense system, how it works, and what it means for America's security in an increasingly unpredictable world. The development of America's own Iron Dome represents one of the most significant advancements in U.S. military defense capabilities in decades. For generations, America's military dominance relied on offensive superiority, the ability to project power anywhere in the world. But today's battlefield has changed dramatically, with new threats emerging that can bypass traditional defenses and strike at the heart of our military installations and potentially our homeland. The answer to these evolving threats may lie in a system that has already proven its worth thousands of times in the skies above Israel. The Iron Dome, Israel's revolutionary missile defense system, has changed the calculus of regional warfare by effectively neutralizing the threat of short-range rockets and artillery. And now, the United States is building its own version. The Iron Dome success story. To understand why the U.S. military is so interested in this technology, we need to first understand the Israeli system that inspired it. Developed by Rafael Advanced Defense Systems and first deployed in 2011, Israel's Iron Dome was created out of necessity. With Israeli civilians under constant threat from rocket attacks from Gaza and Lebanon, the country needed a solution that could protect population centers from short-range threats. The system works through a sophisticated network of radar detection systems, battle management computers, and missile firing units. When enemy rockets are detected, the system calculates their trajectory in seconds. If the incoming projectile is headed toward a populated area, an interceptor missile is launched to destroy it mid-air. What makes Iron Dome remarkable is its effectiveness. The system has achieved interception rates of approximately 90% for rockets that would have hit populated areas. During intense conflicts, it has intercepted thousands of incoming projectiles, saving countless lives and preventing widespread destruction. But perhaps most importantly, Iron Dome changed the strategic equation. By neutralizing the threat of rocket attacks, it reduced the political and military pressure to respond with large-scale ground operations, potentially saving lives on both sides of the conflict. America's changing threat landscape. For decades, America's military strategy relied on maintaining air superiority in any conflict zone. Our advanced fighter jets and air defense systems were designed to counter traditional air threats from peer competitors like Russia or China. But the nature of warfare has evolved significantly in recent years. Today, the United States faces a different kind of aerial threat. First, the proliferation of drone technology has created new vulnerabilities. Commercial drones modified for military purposes can now deliver explosives with surprising accuracy. We've seen this tactic employed effectively in conflicts around the world, including in Ukraine and the Middle East. Second, cruise missiles have become more accessible to smaller nations and non-state actors. These weapons fly at low altitudes to avoid radar detection and can strike with precision from hundreds of miles away. Third, artillery rockets and mortars remain a persistent threat to U.S. forces deployed abroad. In Iraq and Afghanistan, American bases regularly came under attack from these weapons, which are relatively inexpensive and easy to deploy. Finally, the emergence of hypersonic missiles, which travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound and can maneuver in flight, represents a new class of threat that can potentially overwhelm existing defenses. Colonel Richard Hansen, former director of the Army's Air and Missile Defense Cross-Functional Team, explained the challenge. Our adversaries have studied how we fight. They know we rely on forward operating bases, logistics hubs, and command centers. By targeting these with relatively inexpensive weapons, they hope to disrupt our ability to project power. Why the US needs its own Iron Dome. Given these evolving threats, the Pentagon has recognized the need for a layered defense system that can protect against a wide range of aerial attacks, from drones and mortars to cruise missiles. The Israeli Iron Dome has demonstrated that such protection is possible. Its success rate against short-range threats has made it a model for what effective defense can look like in the modern era. In 2019, the US Army made the decision to purchase 2 Iron Dome batteries from Israel as an interim solution while developing its own system. These batteries were tested at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico, allowing American engineers to study the technology up close. But the US military needs more than just the Israeli system. America's defense requirements differ significantly from Israel's. First, the US military operates globally, which means any system must be highly mobile and adaptable to different environments, from the deserts of the Middle East to the jungles of Southeast Asia. Second, American forces face a wider variety of threats, including advanced cruise missiles and hypersonic weapons that the original Iron Dome wasn't designed to counter. Third, any US system must integrate seamlessly with existing air defense networks and command structures, including NORAD, North American Aerospace Defense Command, and regional command centers around the world. And finally, the system must be cost-effective. Defending against inexpensive rockets and drones with million-dollar interceptors isn't sustainable in the long run. If you agree that protecting our troops should be a top priority, type "defend" in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts on this crucial military development. The US approach, beyond Iron Dome. Rather than simply copying the Israeli system, the US military is developing a comprehensive approach to counter aerial threats, drawing inspiration from Iron Dome while adapting it to America's unique needs. The US Army's program, known as the Indirect Fire Protection Capability, IFPC, aims to create a multi-layered defense against various aerial threats. This includes the purchase and evaluation of Israeli Iron Dome batteries as an interim solution for protecting critical installations, development of new interceptor missiles designed specifically to counter the threats American forces face, including a focus on cost-effectiveness for engaging inexpensive targets like drones, integration of directed energy weapons, essentially military lasers, that can destroy incoming threats at the speed of light and at a fraction of the cost of traditional interceptors, advanced radar systems capable of detecting and tracking multiple threat types simultaneously, from low-flying drones to high-speed missiles, a comprehensive battle management system that can coordinate these various elements and integrate them with existing air defense networks. General John Murray, former head of Army Futures Command, highlighted the importance of this approach. The threat is evolving rapidly. We need solutions that can evolve just as quickly. That means developing systems that can be upgraded as technology advances and new threats emerge. Before we continue with this fascinating exploration of America's new defensive shield, I'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. Your contributions allow us to bring you the detailed analysis and research that you won't find anywhere else. Please consider joining our Patreon community. The link is in the description below. Now, let's get back to understanding the incredible technology behind America's Iron Dome. The technology behind the American Iron Dome. At its core, America's version of Iron Dome will rely on 4 essential components. First, a network of advanced radar systems that can detect incoming threats at long range and track their trajectories with precision. These include the ANMPQ-64 Sentinel radar and more advanced systems currently in development. Second, a sophisticated battle management center that processes radar data, identifies threats, determines which ones pose a danger to protected areas, and decides which defense systems to activate. Third, a variety of interceptor systems tailored to different threats. For slower targets like drones, this might include electronic warfare systems or lasers. For rockets and missiles, it would involve kinetic interceptors, essentially missiles designed to hit other missiles. Fourth, a robust communication network that allows these various elements to work together seamlessly, sharing data in real time and coordinating responses. What makes this system revolutionary is its ability to create a dome of protection over critical assets, whether that's a military base, a naval vessel, or even potentially civilian infrastructure. Dr. Thomas Carrico, director of the Missile Defense Project at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, explained, "What we're talking about is creating layers of defense, different interceptors and different systems optimized for different threats, all working together to create a comprehensive shield." Challenges and limitations. Despite its promise, building an American Iron Dome presents significant challenges. The first challenge is cost. Defensive systems are inherently expensive, and interceptor missiles can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars each. When facing adversaries using drones that might cost a few $1,000s, this creates an unfavorable cost-exchange ratio. The second challenge is coverage. Unlike Israel, which is a relatively small country, the United States has vast territories to protect, including overseas military bases spread across multiple continents. Creating a comprehensive defensive shield over all these areas would require an enormous investment. The third challenge is technological. Some emerging threats, particularly hypersonic missiles that travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound and can maneuver in flight, are extremely difficult to intercept with current technology. And finally, there's the challenge of quantity. In a major conflict, adversaries could potentially launch hundreds or even thousands of projectiles simultaneously, attempting to overwhelm defensive systems through sheer numbers. General Mark Milley, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, acknowledged these challenges in congressional testimony. "We're making significant progress, but this isn't a silver bullet. Defense is always more difficult than offense, and we need to be realistic about what these systems can achieve." Real-world applications. Despite these challenges, the U.S. military sees enormous potential in an American Iron Dome system. Its applications would extend far beyond protecting the homeland. For forward-deployed troops, it would provide a protective shield against rocket and mortar attacks, which have been a persistent threat in recent conflicts. This would allow forces to operate more effectively without the constant threat of indirect fire. For naval vessels, it would add another layer of defense against anti-ship missiles, complementing existing systems like the Aegis Combat System. For allies and partners, it would represent a potential shared defensive capability, strengthening America's security relationships around the world. And perhaps most importantly, for strategic planners, it would complicate adversaries' calculations, forcing them to reconsider attacks that might previously have seemed viable. Colonel Douglas Maddy, who has worked on the Army's air and missile defense modernization efforts, emphasized the strategic importance. These systems change the cost-benefit analysis for our adversaries. If they know their attacks are likely to be intercepted, that creates a powerful deterrent. The future of American air defense. As the United States continues to develop its own version of Iron Dome, the technology is evolving rapidly. The future of this system is likely to include several emerging technologies. Artificial intelligence will play an increasingly important role, helping to identify threats more quickly and accurately, and making split-second decisions about which defensive systems to activate. Directed energy weapons, military lasers, will become more powerful and practical, potentially offering a cost-effective way to counter certain threats like drones and slower missiles. Space-based sensors will provide earlier warning of incoming threats, giving defensive systems more time to respond. And network defenses will allow various systems to work together more effectively, creating a more comprehensive protective shield. Secretary of the Army Christine Wormuth outlined this vision in a recent policy statement. The future battlefield will be faster, more lethal, and more complex than anything we've seen before. Our air and missile defense capabilities must evolve to meet these challenges, protecting our forces and enabling them to accomplish their missions. The U.S. military's pursuit of its own Iron Dome represents a profound shift in thinking about defense. For decades, America relied on the threat of overwhelming retaliation to deter attacks. Now, it's investing in the ability to neutralize those attacks directly. This shift recognizes the changing nature of warfare in the 21st century. As technology proliferates and new threats emerge, the ability to defend against a wide range of aerial attacks becomes increasingly crucial. Israel's Iron Dome proved that effective defense against rocket attacks is possible. America's version aims to take that concept further, creating a comprehensive shield against everything from drones to hypersonic missiles. General James McConville, former Chief of Staff of the Army, summed up the importance of this effort. Our soldiers deserve the best protection we can provide. These systems will save American lives and change the way we fight. The road ahead won't be easy. Technical challenges, budget constraints, and evolving threats will all pose obstacles. But the U.S. military is committed to this path, recognizing that in a world of proliferating threats, a strong defense is more important than ever. As we've seen throughout history, American innovation rises to meet the challenges of the moment. The development of an American Iron Dome is likely to be the next chapter in that proud tradition. If you found this analysis valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth coverage of military technology and strategy. Your support allows us to continue bringing you these detailed examinations of the developments shaping our national security. Thank you for watching.